Previously, I made a video on disappointing anime. Now it's time to get into anime worth recommending. I've seen my fair share of anime and feel that some don't get enough attention. This video is going to be focusing on shows that, for some reason, escape people's radars and deserve an extra voice of recommendation, so without further ado, let's get started. Number 8. Samurai Flamenco. This tells the story of a young man named Hazama Masayoshi, who enjoys shows about heroes so much that he decides to masquerade himself into one, aka Samurai Flamenco. The only one who knows of his secret so far is a cop named Goto, who stumbled across him one day in his birthday suit. Yeah, that introduction alone gives you an idea how strange this show is, and I love it. The anime is influenced in a kick-ass style storytelling minus the cruel violence. Actually, I take it back. That action is usually done in the hands of another character introduced into the show, Flamenco Girl, or Flamenco Diamond as she later calls herself. Goto and Masayoshi pretty much made the show from patrolling the streets as the idealistic vigilante to the cop making sure he doesn't get into any more trouble. I put it low on this list because there's a point in the show where it takes sudden twists and turns that it left people feeling pretty divided on this. It's because of these outrageous twists that I nearly considered dropping this anime. Thankfully I didn't, since by the time episodes 15 and 16 came around, it started to feel like Samurai Flamenco again, where the heart of the show is the characters, mainly the relationship between Goto and Masayoshi. The animation budget kinda dropped here and there, but the character interaction is enough for me to overlook it. The first 6 episodes plus the third act is worth watching, so if you're curious on seeing something spoofing Sentai, or want to try something different, or just want to be confused for the sake of it, then this is the show for you. Also, the opening and ending themes are worth listening for too. Enough said. Number 7. Polar Bear Cafe, or Shirokuma Cafe. This is a slice of life about a panda visiting a cafe on a daily basis, owned by a polar bear, along with an emperor penguin, and that's pretty much it. It's talking animals, acting like us, and interacting with people like it's normal, everyday business. It makes me wish I lived in a world like that. Seriously, who wouldn't want to go to a cafe owned by a polar bear? Not much to say on this one, but the plus sides on this is, if you're an animal lover, you're going to love this series. It also has a big celebrity cast for this. If you're big on Japanese voice actors, this is another plus, like Takahiro Sakurai as Polar Bear, or Hiroshi Kamiya as the Emperor Penguin, just to name a few. Another key point is, this is animated by Studio Pierrot, which did the animation for Bleach, The Legend of Korra Season 2, and Yu Yu Hakusho. With a resume like that, it's no wonder the show looks so good. The colors are very nice and pleasant, the music is very upbeat, and it has golden comedic moments from time to time. If you're looking for a nice slice of life anime, this is worth checking out as well. Number 6 is, well, number 6. This is a government conspiracy story revolving around 2 boys who met each other years ago and would later run into each other again when one of them, named Shion, discovers something strange occurring in the so-called Utopia number 6. For uncovering it, he gets taken away only to be rescued by Nezumi, which means rat, and they escape from the perfect utopia to the rundown West City block, where they remain safe for a while and think of what to do with this discovery and whatnot. Pretty vague, but the general idea is number 6 is not a great place in spite of it being a perfect city where no crime of any sort is happening. People like the elites have a comfortable lifestyle and everything is orderly. But that's not the case, of course. If you were to mention anything negative about number 6, you are suddenly taken away. Yeah, it's that kind of system. It's a good story that keeps you watching, but it does have its problems. Towards the end, it feels completely rushed. We never find out who was behind the conspiracy and why they're doing all this. It's just confusing and a bit agitated that they wrapped everything up in a sloppy manner. But up until that point, number 6 is a good conspiracy story. The characters are interesting and memorable, and it leaves you wondering what's going to happen next, even if the ending was pretty rushed. If it had been given more than 11 episodes, it could have been a little more solid, but from what we got, it was decent and worth a look into. Oh yeah, there's one more thing I should mention about this show. It also contains a bit of shonen ai between the main characters Shion and Nezumi. Emphasis on the bit since it's not a huge focus on the story. If you're not into that, that's fine, but again, it's not really addressed all that much. It's more or less a side thing. But if you're willing to tackle the show anyway, check it out when you can. It'll be worth the watch. Number 5. Princess Tutu. This is a story about a young girl named Duck who gets a mysterious talisman from a man named Drosselmeyer, which gives her the ability to transform into a magical ballerina named Princess Tutu. It also has the ability to retain her human form, since she really does live up to her name, Duck. She also attends a ballet academy where her teacher is a cat and other classmates are also anthropomorphic animals, yet nobody pays any mind to it. That gives you an idea of how surreal the world of Princess Tutu is, but that's what makes it unique. As someone who took ballet years ago, this show brought back nostalgia of the times I used to enjoy it, and it's a nice take on a classical story that goes for Swan Lake feel, only with a duck. The characters are very nice and thought-provoking. The choreography is also good for the dance scenes. The music, while not all memorable, is very fitting for each scene. Now, because it's a magical girl anime, it does have that formulaic style where something happens and she has to transform and the problem is usually solved. However, in the case of Princess Tutu, it's not done to the point of annoyance. For one thing, the transformation scene, unlike Sailor Moon, isn't 2 minutes long, but rather 20 seconds. Second, the way she solves the problem is by dancing with the character in trouble, and usually she will collect a shard and return it to the prince who is missing his heart, and her job is to find them and retrieve them. It's a nice story, bittersweet at times, yet a show I would watch again and again. So if you're looking for something different, this is worth watching as well. Number 4. Tiger and Bunny. This is about a group of mutants known as Next, who are superheroes fighting crime for a reality show known as Hero TV. One of them, Wild Tiger, is a veteran and unfortunately isn't getting much attention like he used to in the old days. When a new hero joins in, named Barnaby Brooks Jr., not only does he possess the same abilities as Wild Tiger, but they're forced to work together as a team. The sponsor of Kotetsu, or Wild Tiger, shut down due to account of being unable to pay for the damages he made on property, and was sent to a new sponsor for this idea since it's never been done before. And as you can imagine, they don't get along very well. It's basically a nod to Marvel and DC Comics on heroes. It can be funny and campy, but it can be dark at times too. It's one of those shows that has everything you want in a show by heroes, and Kotetsu is one of the best protagonists I've ever seen. It also has a very diverse cast from the Flaming Fire Emblem to the Japanophile Origami Cyclone. Each of these characters are all interesting, memorable. They'll all have you laughing at their antics as well as getting for you to feel for them at the touching moments. Plus, the animation is awesome, especially on the suits Tiger and Barnaby wear, clearly a nod to Iron Man there. Not much I can say. It's just one of those shows you need to see for yourself, so check it out whenever you can, if you haven't seen it